Welcome to Busted Speakers. I'm Alex,
And I'm Cam.
and well, we've been away for a little while, but out of nowhere, we're suddenly back and we're reviewing the Blue Moon Rising EP. Yes, we're just coming out of nowhere. We haven't even reviewed his other two EPs, just started with this one. Because that's how we do at Busted Speakers. We do whatever we want.
We don't follow no rules and release schedules.
Yep, no rules, no restrictions. We just do as we feel. So, in preparations for this episode, I have subsequently heard the other two EPs, and they all seem to follow the same formula. There are three separate songs, properly songs, while there's five different tracks. And the tracks seem to be just extended remixes, or one is an extended remix, and another will just be a like 12-inch edit or a 7-inch edit. I can't even see the point of putting these on vinyl, to be honest, but I guess they are. Vinyl editions do exist.
Yeah, that just occurred to me because the only release I've seen for this on RYM, I think said that it's a 12-inch exclusive. So why does it need a 7-inch mix?
Yeah, that is bizarre. I don't know, maybe some DJs were getting it out there. Even though the 7-inch mix is like the same song but 30 seconds shorter.
Yeah.
Go figure. Well, anyway, this release, and it's the same formula. We have Blue Moon Rising, which is remixed as a Reflex, was it a the Reflex remix, and the 7-inch remix, and Wandering Star and Come On Outside. That is the track list. And I like what you said about this earlier, Cam. This feels a little bit like a glorified single. As for the songs themselves, how do you feel about the main song, Blue Moon Rising?
I really liked it. I thought it had a really great groove to it. I have never listened to Noel Gallagher and or his High Flying Birds. I've only heard of them in passing, and I didn't know exactly what to expect. I figured it would be something in a rock vein, just because he's from Oasis. And when I heard this, I liked it. I think that all three of these main songs are all pretty decent. I don't really know what you'd call them because is dance rock really even a thing? You
Well,
think?
it is a good way to describe some stuff, especially when it's a rock musician primarily getting into dance, because they still definitely have mostly rock ideals into how to make music. Alternative dance, or just disco a little bit, something like that.
I'm definitely not straight disco, but I get what you're
It's
saying.
not straight disco, but it's definitely he definitely tried that a bit more with the another EP, the Black Star Dancing. But Blue Moon Rising, this one, I like this song quite a bit. It's definitely improvement over some other more dance, fresh, dancey type tracks he's done before, especially Black Star Dancing, which had one of the most basic bass lines ever. This one has a thumping, rolling bass line, some really good keyboard synthesizer parts. Definitely felt like he was influenced by another Manchester act, New Order, especially with the way the synth parts come shimmering in. I don't know if it's something I'd want him to continue on forever. I definitely don't think that. He's definitely best at still making rock music, I'd say. So, but as far as this type of tune goes, this is definitely the best realized version of it. So, can't complain too much there. No. The second track is Wandering Star. When I first heard this, I didn't really like it that much. I felt like the mix was a bit too busy, and why the bells? The bells are a bit too much. It almost felt like he was trying for a Christmas type song. The more I listened to it, the melodies started to come through. I didn't mind the mix as much. I mean, when you're a Oasis fan, you're used to the brick wall in sound wars of the 90s, how bad CDs sounded to try and be the loudest possible. So I got over that pretty quickly. It's at least a decent song. And if we're going by the analogy that this is almost like a CD single, if this was a B-side, nobody would complain about it. I guess being on an EP gives it elevated status as a track, kind of. But yeah, decent song.
Surprisingly, Wandering Star is the most played of these tracks on Spotify, at least.
It was the first of the three songs that was released as a single.
Okay.
That may be why. But are you looking at just the EP itself, like
Yeah.
not even the? Yeah, maybe just familiarity.
It's got almost a clear million more.
Wow. Did not expect that, or
Yeah.
even to get that many plays. Nice. That's the weird thing. All of the songs on here were released, like the songs proper, I'm not talking about the remixes, were released before the EP was out. So you could actually listen to the EP before the EP was out. Like, what sort of scheduling was that? Wandering Star was released. I know he announced this EP 5 months in advance before it was released, but I don't get how you're generating any sort of excitement when you're releasing all the songs in advance. Like, what is there to be excited for the actual EP at that point?
Yeah, it's just a confusing rollout in general. Like, I mean, people have been doing crazy things with rollouts for years now, even though like some people will act like it's just been in the last couple of years. Like, you got Drake dropping, 40 track albums that
God.
go like platinum just on album equivalent streams just because of how long they are, and people just put them on to let them run to the end and start over. But then like this is just like extra weird. Like, I mean, think about this. Like the artwork for these, the like Wandering Star has its own artwork, which is really cool. I really like it.
I don't think I've even seen it. I've just
Yeah.
only seen the Blue Moon Rising album artwork of like a giant woman over a city.
Yeah, but the weird part is that's also the artwork for the single release or the Spotify single release of Come On Outside. That's,
So what did the Wandering Star artwork look like? Sorry.
it's like a big triangle pyramid prism thing, little beam of light going through it, and then there's like a I don't know, desert image or something with a hot air balloon in the distance.
Okay, so some actual effort went into that.
Yeah, it's
To be
nice.
honest, I don't actually like the artwork of most of this EP era's stuff. They seem a bit too postmodern, kind of looking like sort of futuristic but retro at the same time.
Yeah, but at least like there's like consistency to the stuff from the This Is the Place EP, because it's like what I'm seeing is like all A Dream Is All I Need to Get By, and then This Is the Place with a remix and the actual song,
Yeah.
and they're all just like different colorations of the main EP's artwork, and like that it makes sense to do it that way. I don't get what he's going for with this new stuff.
Come On Outside is definitely the most reminiscent of Oasis songs of old, or even earlier Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds material, where he was just more in a straight ahead sort of pop rock way. This is feels very open and compared to the sort of restrictive, messy mixes of some of the other songs in this EP rollout. Just a very strong melody. I mean, Noel's voice in general has such a uniquely strong but also quite sweet voice. Like he can hit high notes pretty unrestrained a lot of the time. Like it doesn't seem to strain his voice at all to hit the high notes or at least get in a higher vocal register. But he can also go a bit lower and sound really damn powerful. And I kind of like the message of this song, just like if you're in a rut or things aren't going well, come on outside, just try something new. I mean, it's nothing new, but it's definitely a decent message to pass by. And yeah, I'm pretty okay with this song. It's between this and Blue Moon Rising of my two favorites. They're pretty much equal, with Wandering Star being a notch below.
Yeah, I'd say Blue Moon Rising is the clear winner for me,
Okay,
just because I like the groove of it. I really feel that, and
fair enough.
like this is like tangential. It's not like a huge impact on my opinion of the song, but like, did you think the synths kind of, or like it's like synths or vocoder or something, kind of felt like running up that hill a little bit, kind of like the wow wow kind of.
Not specifically, I didn't think of that there, but
Yeah.
maybe now that you've mentioned it, I might make that connection.
Yeah, I think it was like even a little easier to tell in the Reflex Revision mix.
No, that specifically reminded me of some New Order stuff, like the synths, those exact synths you're talking about, some singles from them in the late 80s. So maybe a similar reference point, kinda.
Yeah, I haven't given New Order their due yet, but yeah, I mean that's just like the first thing that came to mind for me. So like anything that'll remind me of Kate Bush is at least deserves decent marks,
Yeah.
even if it's just for a second.
So if that's your clear favorite, how do you feel about having the song again 2 times?
Um, like I don't get it. We kind of touched on this already, but like you said, the Reflex version is just like a much longer version, and then the 7-inch mix is just shorter so that it could fit on a 45. It's like the Reflex version isn't even that drastically different from the final version. It's just like the
No,
intro is
it's
extended out a little bit. There's like different things like the vocoder is used a little bit less. You can actually hear the his vocals as or like his voice as just vocals instead of as like the synth sounds that I talked about. But aside from that, it just felt like the same thing, just more of it. And then the 7-inch mix is just the same thing, but less of it.
and I'm not a musical expert, especially when you get into music theory, but it felt like a little bit slowed down.
Yeah, just a hair.
The time sequence was a little slowed down, which I didn't appreciate. Plus, the bass playing felt a little bit abandoned or emptied out a little bit. It's like they gave focus to other elements of the song. I guess since the core song itself is good, it's not actually bad. It just feels extremely unnecessary, especially the 7-inch version. This is primarily the reason why it feels like a CD single, because a lot of CD singles would just lump any old remix onto the song because it is a full CD, the CD singles, and they could fill anything up to get the track list time to a reasonable length. Like you could get CD singles that almost filled up a whole hour of remixes of the same song, so it's not that drastic. But yeah, kind of unnecessary to me. So factoring all these different aspects together, do you think you could even give it a rating, Cam?
I'm really not sure because I always have trouble rating singles and EPs more than albums just naturally, especially this kind of single where it's like, or EP where it's just like one main song, remixes, and extra tracks. Do you just rate by the main song and treat everything else as just extras that don't really add or detract? Or do you take the complete package as if it's supposed to be its own thing? But when you get into that, then it's kind of disappointing to just have like two pretty good songs and then two unnecessary remixes. How much do you want to account for that? How much weight do you give those? It's at least, I'd say, an 8 just for the title track. That's a great song. And if,
Wow, I didn't expect that high.
yeah, I mean, like if he does more like this, then I'd definitely be willing to keep checking the band out.
Okay,
Maybe not like for the rest of their careers, but I would definitely listen to an album of songs of that style and especially that caliber.
okay.
The other two are both pretty good. Like Wandering Star was a little, definitely too overproduced or brick-walled for my liking, but not bad. Like easier to listen to than some Oasis stuff that I've heard. No offense, Oasis fans, please don't kill me. Um,
Oh, they will.
yeah, but yeah, it's just like I don't really know how to take the whole thing in. I guess I'm just gonna try to average it out and call it a 7.
Okay, I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 10.
Oh,
See, it's definitely fine for what it is. I like Blue Moon Rising. I like Come On Outside, and if it was just a two-track single, maybe a 7. Wandering Star already detracts it into 6 territory for me, and I just hate unnecessary tracks. It's a waste of my time. I'm never going to listen to the Reflex revision or the 7-inch mix again, because there's no need to. So yeah, it's a 5. It's definitely worth checking out on some level, and I guess all the EPs are, because even the This Is the Place EP had a track or two that was worth checking out. I mean, all these EPs have a few things that are worth checking out, so it's good to have realised that, because I've just been subconsciously avoiding them the past few months because they didn't seem very high level releases to me. But yes, Noel's still keeping on, still experimenting around, very far removed from the Oasis original sound. But keep doing what you want to do, Noel. This was pretty decent, but definitely not my favorite release format with these extra tracks. Okay, so that was our review of the third EP from Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, Blue Moon Rising. Check us out on Facebook, on Twitter, and check out our other videos and subscribe to the channel. See you guys.
bye.